Good morning and welcome back to another Money Not Math conversation. Are you familiar with the difference between a worry, a wish, and a forecast when it comes to your long-term retirement planning? In today's Money Not Math conversation, we're going to highlight an article by David Booth, Executive Chairman and founder of Dimensional.com. And the title of his article is The Difference Between a Forecast, a Wish, and a Worry. David goes on to say, when I was growing up, our local newspaper, the Kansas City Star, was full of news and had one page for opinion. Keyword there, opinion. How often do you read news or the newspaper and we perceive it as factual because it's being written, but in reality, it's just someone else's opinion? I know I fall into that trap sometimes myself. So it's an interesting thing. But he goes on to say, after decades of cable news and nonstop digital postings, I see more opinions these days than news. That's not a bad thing, but when it comes to investing, it's crucial to remember the difference between news and opinion and how they are sometimes used to forecast the future. Anytime the government releases new data on unemployment or inflation or interest rate changes, people start claiming they can forecast the future. That's not necessarily a bad thing either, but most of what I hear people say isn't what I would call forecasting. Forecasting is when you have a high degree of confidence in an outcome based on well-proven models. The weather forecast for a few days from now is a lot better than anything I read in the Kansas City Star about investing. The weather forecast is pretty darn accurate. I'd sure call that kind of forecast the right use of the word. That's different from someone using a forecast for when the Dow will hit a certain number, or when inflation will reach a certain level, or which 5 stocks will rise the most over the next year. So when people say they forecast that something will be at this level at that time, I don't call that a forecast. That's a wish. And when people forecast that something will go down at a certain time, that's a worry. Do you really want to invest your hard-earned savings, the money you'll need for your kids' college or your own retirement, based on someone's hunch or wish? The good news is you can have a good experience without having to do any forecasting. I believe you just need to be a long-term investor with a truly diversified portfolio. Over the last 100 years or so, the average return of the market has been about 10% a year. Keyword average. I won't call it a forecast, but my best guess is that over the next 100 years, the average annual return will be about 10%. Of course, there may be large fluctuations, just like we have experienced for the last 100 years and like we've experienced in the last 6 months. Instead of forecasting, focus on the power of what I think has been behind the stock returns of the last 100 years: human ingenuity. Millions of people at thousands of companies working to improve their product, enhance their service, and lower their costs, and all adapting in real time to a changing world. We witnessed the power of human ingenuity over the course of the pandemic. I'm seeing again as companies adjust to deal with inflation. The world has changed in so many ways since I was a kid reading the Kansas City Star. I still occasionally read it on my phone now. It makes me chuckle when I imagine trying to explain to my grandparents that I read the newspaper on the phone, which I can relate to because I have a grandpa who just turned 93. And it's funny talking to him about texting and different like social media things because that's just a whole world he doesn't care to understand. So while I expect, going back to the article, while I expect the world to keep changing, I'm not forecasting when or how. I'm confident that human ingenuity will be constant. Whether in good times or bad, that's reason to be optimistic. So the overall point of this is to remember, what are you basing your long-term retirement planning on? Forecasts, a wish, a worry, a hunch, something your friend said, some stock picker out there told you should buy a stock, the new cool crypto came out. All right. Are you basing it on short-term hunches, wishes, and worries, or are you basing it on long-term fundamentals of investing and forecasting? All right. Here's today's Money Not Math conversation. Thank you for your time. Please let me know what you think by commenting or reaching out. I always appreciate a like and a share. And otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.